Hello! It's almost time for my month-long trip to Greece. I'm so nervous but also really excited and looking forward to going. I know a lot of you have been asking me which art supplies am I going to be taking, so today I'm going to answer that question for you and show you everything that I have finally decided to pack, and we can see what I'm going to take with me to Greece. Let's get into it! So I'm only going to be taking a small carry-on bag. It's like a large handbag, but I decided I'd prefer to have that rather than a roller one because my suitcase is a roller thing and it's just really awkward carrying two of them. So along with the art supplies that I'll be bringing, I also need room in my bag for my camera and also a small laptop which we'll be bringing with us so that we can look at our pictures and surf the internet, just really basic things. I'm not doing any video editing while we're away, but I will show you what will fit in the bag for art supplies because I have got limited room, but I've decided to go with this case here. This case is actually by the company Art Toolkit. They are the company that makes those tiny little palettes that I have shown on my channel before, and you're going to see them again because no doubt they are probably in here. They have two sizes of cases. One is a pocket case and this one is the A5 size. It's a bit larger and I thought it would be more useful. This thing manages to just pick up all sorts of fluff and hair though. It's kind of annoying, but I'm going to travel with it anyway because it's a really good size and it fits perfectly into my carry-on bag. I have already tested this, so I know what's going to go. So if I unzip it and open it up, we can see everything that I've managed to squeeze in. There's also quite a lot of stuff in here, so I will go through and explain everything. First up, and arguably the most important thing, is the sketchbook. Now, I absolutely agonized over which one to take, and originally my idea was taking this Canson art book, which has got Saunders Waterford 100% cotton paper. It's a gorgeous book. I really like it. The only trouble with it is it has a hardback cover, which can be good for protecting work, but it's also got a lot of annoying points on it, and the biggest issue is the spiral. It is so big and it's really cumbersome when putting in here because I tried to fit it and it's just too big. It's so frustrating. So I've sadly decided I'm not going to take this one, even though the paper is lovely. I will find another use for it in the future, but it's going back in my sketchbook drawer to be used for another time. I also have this little book. It's a Bao 100% watercolour. I really love this book too. I have travelled with this particular book to New Zealand, and you can probably see here I have filled exactly half of the book. Now I was thinking, do I continue and do all my Greece paintings in here? But the only issue I have is that I'm going for a whole month, and I'm kind of hoping to paint a lot, but it's really hard to know, and I'd be really annoyed if I got to the end and I just haven't finished the trip, and so then I'd have to go into a second book. So I think I am going to bring it with me, but this is going to be a supplementary book, so I'll probably do a few sketches of Greece in here, but I actually do want to have a book that's entirely dedicated for Greece. The sketchbook that I am going to use for my Greece trip is this one here. It fits so nicely into this little pocket. It is a Stillman & Byrne premium sketchbook. It is a cold press beta series, so the paper is white. It's 270 GSM, so it's nice and thick, and this one is designed for watercolors. I've used this paper before, so I know what it's like. It isn't cotton, unfortunately, but I decided I didn't really want to pay the money to buy another cotton sketchbook when the other one that I showed is cotton, and that cost a fortune, but just wasn't fit for purpose in this case. This one is a soft cover book, so it's quite flexible, and I'm actually going to take this thing off it because I am sick of looking at it. It is not coming to Greece with me. I just thought I would leave it on there so you could see it. This is an A5 size in an 8.5 by 5.5 inch, and it is a landscape format, but I may flip it up and do some portrait stuff in here as well, who knows. I may decorate this cover, but I think I'll be doing that after we get back, or I might find something to stick on our travels, but I'm just going to leave it like that for now. But that slides in there so easily, it's just going to be really easy to carry. So yes, I do have the 2 Art Toolkit palettes that go with this bag, and the first one is the larger of the 2, which is the standard size Art Toolkit, and one of these paints has come out. You're not supposed to do that. There we go, it's magnetized back in there. Those are actually a little bit sticky. I have let these dry for ages, but they just still feel a little tacky. So this is my main paint palette, and I also have a little backup one with some extra colours. This is the Demi palette, which is half the size, and everything is really jammed well into that one, but it's so tiny. It has some extra colours in there. I just thought this would be fun to take along as a little secondary palette. So these are my main watercolour palettes that I am taking along this trip, and hopefully these will go pretty much everywhere with me so that I can be doing some paintings while we're out and about, and probably I'll work from some photographs as well in the evenings, which is what I often do. And in this little pocket here I have another little set of colours, but these are the Caran d'Ache Neo Colour 2s in a set of 15. I've actually swapped out the white for a grey, but otherwise it's pretty much as the set came. These are super pretty, and I thought these would be handy for times if I just want to get some colour down really quickly but not have to wet it, because it's annoying sometimes if the book needs to be left to dry, and I may not always have time for that, so these can be wet at a later time because they are water soluble. I just thought these would be fun to sketch with, and I've been wanting to use this little set for a while. So these are my 3 main colour palettes, and in the book I have painted in some swatches of each palette so that I can just really quickly refer to the colours. It's okay if you see this information because this is all of my public YouTube information anyway. In this pocket here, I have this tiny ruler that I got in an advent calendar from Kiki K, and it's just a really cute one, so I just thought I'd leave it in there. It is metal, it's quite solid, and I've also got this little eraser that's a twistable thing, so that's quite handy, and I also have some spare 0.5mm HB leads which go to this mechanical pencil here because I know I'm going to run out. I don't have any actual regular pencils, I've just got 2 mechanicals. I'll show that in a moment. And somewhere buried in here is a washi tape. Look, that's a pretty ancient looking thing, and that ruler goes in behind there. I've got a couple of binder clips here which I can use to keep the pages from blowing into each other, because that's always really annoying if I'm outside and it's a little bit windy, so those always come in handy just to hold pages down. I'll put my pocket palette back in here. What I noticed with this is because I'm doing that motion, if I stuck any kind of pens or pencils in on this side, they tend to fall out, and it's really annoying. That's a big design flaw I found with this particular case. But I've solved it by putting in things that are a bit bigger and don't really budge unless you forcibly pull them out. I have 2 smaller travel paint brushes here, so they are the kind that come off like that, and they just stick on. I have a Princeton Neptune in a number 6, and this is a number 8 Art Spectrum. This one's actually a sable hairbrush, and it is really juicy, so I like this one very much. This is probably one of my absolute favourite brushes. This little Princeton Neptune I think is either a mix or it is synthetic squirrel hair, but this one's quite nice too. And I have a much bigger brush which goes into this one. I've been debating whether or not I'm bringing it, and I decided yes I am. This is my most expensive travel brush. It's an Art Spectrum as well. It's a number 12, and it is a Kolinsky Sable brush. It's huge. Look how fluffy it is. That thing holds epic amounts of water, and it is so great for doing washes in the background, so I decided yes I am bringing it, but it is a little bit awkward to get the lid on when the brush is really dry. There we go. It's in. But these all sit in here really sturdily, and they don't fall out when I flip that. I also have just a couple of water brushes because these are always really handy for the times when I don't have a pot of water available to me. I'm thinking when I'm on the aeroplane especially, although I will empty this before going through customs because I don't need this getting confiscated. This would be very annoying. So I've got a couple of raggedy looking ones here. I've used these ones a lot, but they're very good. That's the Pentel Aquash. I really like that brush. This guy is some generic thing that I found years ago and I've been using for a long time. These are always just so super handy, and they work really well with these tiny palettes. So in they go, and that is pretty much all that will fit on this side. I managed to squish a few more things in this pocket, so along with this little box of crayons, I also have a teeny tiny plastic watercolour palette that I think I took to New Zealand as well. I didn't really use it, but I may well use it this time because I am hoping to get a bit more painting done. It's so light. I don't have much mixing space in these two things, so I thought I'd just grab a little one that I can chuck in. It doesn't matter if it gets lost. I think it was only about 50 cents, but it's just a handy little one and I can make some little extra washes if I need to. And I also have a water pot. I managed to fit one in this little guy here, which is really light and just super squishy. It is a bit of a pain to pull out, I've found. Okay, many hours later, I've managed to open this thing fully, so it actually holds a surprising amount of water, and I can just use one pot for my water when I am nearby somewhere that actually has a tap or a water bottle. But most of the time I actually just fill it up like this and leave it flat, because that actually holds a decent enough amount of water too. And I stuffed a few things in here because there's some open space. I have got a kneaded eraser, which I've used a couple of times, and I'm just going to stick it in there. I have these mechanical pencil graphites, which is a 0.9, so that's quite a lot thicker than this one. This is the 0.9mm mechanical pencil, and I'll show that in a moment, but I've just stuck them in there. I've got another washi tape which kind of fits in there a little bit. They're those shop towels that mechanics use, and they absorb a lot of water and oil. I actually cut this up from a much larger piece. I mean, I'll probably end up grabbing some napkins and things like that while we're traveling, but it's always handy to have a couple of these things just in there for blotting my water brushes especially. I've managed to shove a couple of pieces in. There we go. And that all just kind of sits in here as well. And that's as much as will go in there so that I can still actually close it and zip it up. Now over on this side are all of the pens and pencils that I'm taking. I've got some of my favourite uni ball eye pens. These are roller balls with black ink that is waterproof, and so they're excellent for drawing with. This one is a really fine one in a 0.3, I think it is, or 0.38, something like that. I've used it a bit and it's the only one I've got, so it may run out. But I do have the standard size, which I tend to use the most, which is a 0.5, and has got a slightly larger nib, but it's also pretty decent for making thin lines. So I've got a couple of them, and also another couple of black pens. This is a Uniball Eye in a 0.7. I've just bought this, it's brand new. This one tends to put out more juicy ink, and so you can get some thicker lines with it. I mean, they all look the same like this, but they do have a slightly different line variation. Really quick, I'll just show you the different lines. So you can see there is a little bit of variation in line width, and this one will go skinnier than that if I use slightly less pressure. And this is a Tombow calligraphy pen with kind of a brush nib, and this one's quite nice to use as well. This also has waterproof ink. Next to it I have a brand new Uniball Signo broad pen in white, because these things are invaluable. I use them all the time in my sketchbooks just for adding highlights and little details and things. I also found this in my collection, a Faber-Castell Pet Artist pen brush in white as well, and it looks like that, and it's quite a white nib. I've never used this before, and so I thought, why not start on a trip when I can't change my mind if I don't like it? But I thought this one could be fun to use, so I chucked it in. Next, I've got a couple of ballpoint pens. I've just got a regular one with a black, red, green and blue, and also this nice looking one which is a black ballpoint pen, and I'll use it either for sketching or actually filling in documents, things like that when you travel. I will probably have a few more in my carry bag as well. I usually carry multiple ballpoint pens. I have jammed this thing full. And lastly, I have my two pencils. I figured mechanical pencils are just the way to go. They're just so much easier because then I don't have to take a pencil sharpener. And I have two sizes, a 0.5 and a much thicker 0.9. I like both of these pencils. This one is a Staedtler Triplus Micro, which is one of my absolute all-time favourite pencils. This one is a Pentel Graph Gear 500, which I really like, and it's got that thicker nib, which is quite nice for sketching. You can really see it actually, how thick that is. So because I have pencil refills for both of these are the ones that are coming with me. And that is pretty much everything that goes in here. So this folds up. And it zips, and there's my compact travel case, which I'm hoping has enough stuff in it for an entire month. I do have a couple of late additions. One of them is this set of golden maple travel brushes, which I reviewed just recently, and these showed up after I'd put this thing together, but I think I'm going to leave them in their little case and just chuck this into my bag because it's only little, it will fit easily, and these brushes are finer points than the travel brushes I have in here, so I think it will be nice to have some extra ones in case I need them. Not sure if I'll use them, but it's going anyway. And I also have another little case that I decided to pack, and this one's actually going to go in my suitcase. The reason for that is it's got sharp things in it, like those scissors, and obviously you can't have that in a carry-on case. It's got a tiny little sellotape because I may want to stick some things into my sketchbook. I've got a washi tape, a glue stick, another little eraser just because it was already in this case, and also some whiteout tape because this stuff is so handy. If I do make a mistake, I can just white it out. And I just realized there's a ruler in here. Oh well, I'm taking 2 rulers. I may actually end up taking out the bronze ruler of this because it's quite a heavy thing. I've also got a backup paint palette just in case I've run out of paint in those because they are pretty tiny and I'm not sure how much paint I'm going to use. This is my Holbein set and I've used it pretty extensively. It's quite messy, but all of the paints are well set in there, and I'm just going to bring this along too. I quite like the colour palette. I think a lot of these colours will be good for grease, so it's going in. I also have a couple more white pens. I've actually used these pens quite a lot and I don't know when they're going to run out, so I just figured I'd chuck them in as backups. I've got one pencil. I don't have a pencil sharpener, but that doesn't matter too much. And I also have a couple of used black Uniball eyes and just a little black ballpoint pen in here as well. So this is just going to go in the suitcase somewhere. I'll find a little corner for it, and I may well end up using those scissors and glues to cut things out to stick into my sketchbook. So this is everything that I'm taking, this in the carry-on and this in my suitcase for backups and extra supplies that I might need. I reckon this is going to be perfect, and it's just easy enough to carry around with me everywhere I go, so I'm really hoping I get to do some artworks in my sketchbook as we go around. Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous about going, but I'm really looking forward to getting there. I hope we have a good time. I think this will be my last video I make before we actually travel, but I will have some more videos for you for while we're traveling, and they will be scheduled for once a week. I apologize in advance if I can't actually answer all of your lovely comments because I will be traveling and not necessarily with Wi-Fi all of the time, and of course I do want to take a break, so I probably won't be checking the internet all that much, but I will read them all, I promise you that, and I will get back to you eventually. Just it might take a bit longer than my normal speed when it comes to giving replies. I'll also be doing some community posts and maybe a couple of shorts that I get to film if I get to film them, so do watch out for those because those will be little Greek updates as we go around. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. I hope you liked the supplies that I have chosen. What would you have picked to take overseas? Let me know in the comments below, and I'd really appreciate a thumbs up for this video. If you want to click subscribe, you might see some future videos where I show some of the footage when we were in Greece, but that is for way down the track. I'll be dealing with all of that when we get home. In the meantime, you might want to check out the art supplies that I took to New Zealand with me last year, and I'll have another video up here. Not sure what that's going to be yet, but I'll find something interesting. I will see you all again in my next video, and from Greece, have a great day out there. I'll swatch you later. Bye!